What's going on, guys? It's Brendan Tan here from Hillsong Y&F, and today I'm going to be looking at 5 of my favorite rudiments. Rudiments is something that is so important to a drummer. For me personally, having 6 or 7 teachers over the years, I've realized that everything we play around the drum kit is based out of rudiments. Over the years, in my experience with teaching, so many students come to me saying they want to learn this and they want to learn that, and I think the basis of everything I teach comes out of rudiments. Everything I can play, everything I can do, all starts from the practice pad doing your rudiments. After this, I'm going to be doing another video of me showing my 5 favorite rudiments around the kit, how I apply it, and how I use it in my drumming. If you're keen on that, click the link below, put your email in, and we'll send it straight to you. So the first rudiment that I'm going to show today is the single stroke roll. Basically, all that is a right and a left. Really easy. The thing I want to dive into is how I practiced it growing up. From the ages of 11, 12, 13, 14, I probably practiced for 3 hours a day, and the first hour of every practice session always started on the practice pad. The first thing I'd practice was my single stroke roll. What we want to get good at is playing the single stroke roll, but we want to make sure we're using the correct technique. So for this, what I like to say is I want to think about it as controlling the bounce of the stick. So playing it up to tempo is going to look like this. So, the reason for this is naturally, if I throw my drumstick at the practice pad, you see that it flies back. So naturally, the stick actually wants to come back. So all you want to do in your hand is think about it as a seesaw. So your hand is almost the screw that's holding everything together. So if this is too high, that's going to feel like it's off balance. If it's too low, same thing. The balance isn't right. I say that because it's really important, because if the balance isn't right, you're never going to be able to control the rebound of the stick properly. If you hold the stick in a spot where, when you throw the note down, it comes back automatically, you know you're in the right spot to where, when you start playing singles on one hand, you can control the rebound of the stick. If you've never seen this before, I suggest practicing it over 3 weeks. The first week, what I like to do is have my hand above my head like this, and I'm going to pull my fingers into my palm like that, and then I'm going to release. So what this does, gravity is actually helping us. When we let go, the stick is naturally going away from us. When you practice this, try keep your fingers on the stick at all time. Don't worry about just pushing it down like that. You want your fingers touching the whole time, and you're pulling it into your palm like that. If you've never played with your fingers before, that's the first step that's going to get you used to that feeling. I'll do this for a week, maybe 5 minutes on each hand every day. Once you do that, the second week, I want you to have your stick forward like this, and we're going to do that same thing where we're pulling our fingers into our palm. And with this, there's going to be a little less help from gravity. 5 minutes every day for the second week. And then on the third week, what we're going to do is we're going to have our hand down. Same thing, you're pulling your fingers into your palm, but this time gravity is not helping you at all. And then on the 4th week, we're going to get to the drum pad. So, if you try that straight away on the pad and you're like, that doesn't feel comfortable at all, try that over 3 weeks. And then on the 4th week, start on the drum pad. So everything I just did on my right hand, you want to do the same thing, but on your left hand. And once that's comfortable, what I like to do is I like to put on a metronome, and I like to just practice 8th notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see in this, my wrist is completely still. All the movement is coming from my fingers. And it's not wrong to use your wrist like so. But when we start playing faster, the whole concept is that the smaller muscle you use, the faster you can play. So if I'm using my whole arm, I can get more power out of it, but I'm not playing as fast. So now I'm going to go down to my wrist. An even smaller muscle than that is my fingers. So if you want to focus on playing fast for a long period of time, I reckon it's worth diving into using your fingers. Start with the metronome, start around 100, and just build up every day, maybe till you get to 160, 170, and have that as a goal. Last of all, what we want to do is combine the two. So when you get comfortable with using your fingers, we want to alternate. So it's going to be a right hand and a left hand stroke. So that's going to look like this. Try to play it as evenly as possible. Something I learned is you can almost have an imaginary line here. A lot of people I teach, when they come in, the singles are a bit uneven and it sounds like a shuffle. It kind of sounds like this. But you can clearly see that my right hand is a lot higher than my left hand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start like that, but I'm going to even out my hands and you'll hear what happens. Here we go. As my hands get even, you can see that the notes start to sound even. So if you can imagine having an imaginary line here that you come up to when you practice your singles, it's going to even out your notes. When you get comfortable with that, slowly start to speed up, and ultimately, if you get comfortable using your fingers, it's going to be easy to play a single stroke roll fast at ease. Hopefully that helps. The second rudiment I'm going to look at today is the double stroke roll. I know everyone knows what a double stroke roll is. It's right, right, left, left. So, but specifically, I want to look at how I play them and how I've learned them. I've learned a bunch of different techniques. The one that I like the most is called the Gladstone technique. Now, this one is probably going to be the most annoying, but if you spend time on it and you're disciplined with it, I promise you it's one of the best things you can do for your drumming. So, this one, basically, the concept is I want to get those two notes out of one motion. So, it's going to look like this. So basically what I'm doing, instead of playing two notes with my hand, I'm letting the stick fly back. So I whip up and I hit down. When I hit down and the stick flies back, I land in this position. Now from here, to get the second stroke, all I'm going to do is pull my fingers into my palm like this. So on the pad it looks like this. You whip up, let the stick fly back in your hand, pull your fingers to your palm, and that gives you your second note. Now, same thing, a lot of people I teach, they hit the pad, and from here, they pull their hand up. Make sure when you hit the pad, it's almost like you open up your hand so the stick flies back. So it's like, rather than, okay? So from here, second stroke, pull your fingers into your palm like that. Start slow, slowly get faster. This one can be annoying when you first start doing it, but just give it time, take it slow, be patient with it. It's something that I think is a trap for a lot of people. They go, oh, to practice getting faster, I need to practice as fast as I can for as long as I can. It's probably the opposite. You want to go slow, you want to work on your technique. Okay, so here we go. So lift up, let the stick fly back, pull your fingers into your palm. Left hand, whip up, stick comes back, fingers into your palm. Okay, I'm slowly going to speed up. Okay, so the cool thing about this technique is when I speed up, you actually can't see that motion, but hopefully you can see that as I slow down, you see that motion coming back and it's still there. Even when I'm playing it fast, how you know that motion is there is that each individual note is clean. You can hear each individual stroke. So that's very different to a buzz roll or a drum roll. If you hear someone play this, it's really good, but you can't hear the individual notes. So something I find that's helped me is that Gladstone technique helps you bring out those individual notes when you play a double stroke roll. So the third rudiment we're looking at today is the paradiddle. The paradiddle is a combination of the single stroke roll and the double stroke roll. It has an accent at the start, so we're going to go single, double, and that first single is where the accent is. So it sounds like this, 3, 4. How I like to teach and play the paradiddle is simple. If it's an accent, you're raising as soon as that other double starts. So it's going to be right, left, raise. Left, right, raise. If you practice the raise slow, then when you speed up, it's automatically going to be there. It's not like you're doing it last minute and you have to think about the accent, like so. As soon as you kick that double in, raise your other hand. So here we go. Right, left, raise. Left, right, raise. The other thing I like to do when I practice my paradiddle is if it's an unaccented note, I like to keep it at 10 degrees. So when I say degrees, I mean if this is 10, this is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 is straight up. If it's unaccented, don't even worry about bringing it up, just tap straight down. Like so. So here we go. Right, tap, raise. Left, tap, 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 right, tap, raise. If you remember those two steps and practice it slow like that, when you speed up, the speed's going to come naturally because you've practiced that technique slow. Don't worry about playing it fast, just take it slow. I'm going to start slow and I'm going to slowly speed up, and you can see how that technique is used when I do my paradiddle. Here we go. Okay, so the fourth rudiment I'm going to talk about today is the Paradiddle Doodle. Now this is potentially my favorite out of all the 40 rudiments. If I had to go one, this is the one. The Paradiddle Doodle is right, left, right, right, left, left. So what's that? Single, double, double. I'm going to do a right-handed Paradiddle Doodle to start with because I'm right-handed. It's going to go right, left, right, right, left, left. Repeat. The accent is on the first right-hand single. And as a variation, I sometimes like to put the accent on the right and the left, but I'm going to start with just the accent on the right. It's going to sound like this. Now, same thing as the single paradiddle. If it's an unaccented note, I'm going to tap it down. If it's an accent, I'm going to raise that during the double. Okay, here's what it sounds like if I do a variation and I accent both the singles. It's going to be like this. I think it's equally important to practice both. Later in the second video when we do it on the kit, I'll show you why. Because when you do some combinations, if you're comfortable with both, it just opens up a lot more options of what you can do and how you use it on the kit. I think also with this rudiment, even though it's one way, it's super important. Be just as comfortable going the other way. So leading with the left hand looks like this. Leading with the left hand with both accents. Okay, so now I'm going to try leading with the right hand. I'm going to start slow and I'm going to slowly speed up. Here we go. Paradiddle Doodle is one of the cool rudiments where if your singles work really well and your doubles work really well, this one's going to be easy to crank out and get faster quick. The last thing I'm going to show you with the Paradiddle Doodle is starting slow but using both of the accents on the right hand single and the left hand single. Here we go. I'm going to start slow and speed up. So the fifth rudiment I'm looking at today is probably an unusual one, but I thought I'd throw in a little bit of an advanced one. This one is called the Swiss Army Triplet. Now this one, I'm going to lead with the right hand because I'm right-handed, but same thing, learn it both ways. Swiss Army triplet it's going to be a right-handed flam, a right stroke, and a left stroke. Now the flam is going to be the accent, so that's going to sound like this, really slow. A little bit faster. A little bit faster. So as you can see, similar things. If I'm not doing an accented note, I want to just tap it lightly with my left hand, which is doing those downstroke taps. Same thing with the left hand, it's going to be the same thing, but we're going to reverse it. So it's going to be left hand flam, left, right, and that left hand flam is where the accent is. So it's going to sound like this. Now, when I practice this, when we move it onto the kit, this is where I kind of change it up a little bit. So I put a variation on this. One of my good mates, Costa Theodosis, taught me this. So this is how it goes. So where the flam is, instead of doing a flam, we're going to do the right and the left hand together. So say the side of my practice pad is, say, the right cymbal, and the actual practice pad is the snare. It's going to be right cymbal and snare together, right, left. So it sounds like this. Bit faster. Now the last thing I got taught to add is that middle right hand, we're going to make a double stroke roll. So it's going to be right, 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 left. So that's going to sound like this. So with counting, it's still the same count. It's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. A little bit faster. A little bit faster. Now when you put that around the kit, what I like to do is I like to restart the phrase. So if I restart the phrase, I double that accent. So it's going to be, if I go from 1 accent to 2 accents, it's going to sound like this. And that's cool because if you get comfortable with that, when I show you what I do on the kit with it, you can overlap it over the bar. So for instance, if I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, here comes the feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to show you how to do that on the kit in the second video. Alright, so let's start trying it on the kit. If you want to see the second video, click the link below, put your email in and we'll send it straight to you.